welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and a puzzle called Mods, Quads and Odds, be careful how you say that, by Marty Sears and the Pedaling Pianist. Now, Marty Sears, is there a more prolific setter in the world of Sudoku today? I don't think there is. Marty is absolutely incredible. Almost every day there seems to be a new Marty Sears puzzle, and they're all incredibly good. And the Pedaling Pianist also has established a bit of a reputation as something of an evil genius, I think. And well, the reason I thought we would do this puzzle today is that I had a message from Tony overnight, who asked me to congratulate Stuart and Alana on the birth of their baby daughter, Orla. Now, Stuart is known in Sudoku circles as the Pedaling Pianist. So many congratulations to Stuart and to Alana on the birth of your daughter. And Tony signed his email as Grandad and Great Grandad. So I think that Tony is Stuart's grandfather and therefore Orla's great grandfather. So absolutely fantastic. And this puzzle, by the way, is meant to be absolutely sensational. I will tell you that before I turned on the webcam, I read the rules and I laughed out loud when I read the rules, because these quadruple clues are deliberately blank. And you may then say, well, what on earth is the point of them? And we'll get to that in a moment or two's time. But anyway, let's move on. There was actually a very nice article, a very rare thing actually, for a puzzle competition to be covered well in the national newspapers, but the New York Times did do a very good article on the World Sudoku Championship a couple of days ago, and thanks to whoever it was who tweeted that article to us, and they did it in a form where we were allowed to read it without a New York Times subscription. So I retweeted it, and I think you can read it from the retweet. So I know Twitter or X or whatever it's meant to be called is a dangerous place to spend much of one's time if you want to maintain an even temper. But if you go to our Twitter, which is @CrypticCracking, there's nothing to raise your blood pressure beyond a link to this New York Times article. And yeah, it's a very good article, and it even mentions a nerdy Sudoku channel, a bit of a niche Sudoku channel, inhabited by Simons and Marks. So do have a look at that. I think it is a very good read. Next, the other thing that cropped up on Twitter that I was thinking it would be worth sharing with you was this sign on the White Hart's blackboard there. What has 4 letters, sometimes 9 letters, but never has 5 letters. And I deliberately read that in a very unhelpful way. I'm very sorry. I'm sure some of you will get that instantly. Some of you will have seen it before. But I will reveal to you that the way to get this, and I think it's a bit of fun, but it did make me smile, is to realise that the punctuation in this sentence is exactly correct, and that there at the end of that sentence is not a question mark. And if you reread it thinking of this as a sentence rather than a question, it might help you to understand what's going on. What does have 4 letters, sometimes does have 9 letters, and never has 5 letters as well. So it is a sentence, and I thought that was very nice indeed. So I thought for some of you that would raise a smile. Now, any other news? The only other thing to mention is what we've got going on Patreon at the moment, which is we have DiMono's amazing short story / Sudoku hunt, so check that out. That's our November competition. We also have my lengthy solve of Crux by Dyer, 2 hours 42 minutes of battle, that's the best way to describe it. That video will be going on the channel in a few days time, probably around the weekend, so look out for that. But if you can't wait, it is there on Patreon right now. And then I've got some birthdays to do, and an anniversary actually, so I'll start with the birthdays. Nick, from your girlfriend Mariah. Now apparently this is late, Nick, but nothing to do with me. This is Mariah's fault. I'm not taking the blame. And Nick watches every day. And I'm sorry your birthday announcement is late, Nick, but I hope you had a great birthday with chocolate cake, of course. Next, Darko, over there in Croatia. I know it's your birthday because your girlfriend Susanna wrote to us, and apparently Darko also watches every night. Well done, Darko, thank you. Next to Emma from Albert, and happy birthday, Emma. And apparently Albert is making your favourite no chocolate chip cookies. No, that I must be misreading that. You can't I mean, it's just an appalling thought to have a chocolate chip cookie with no chocolate chips in it. But anyway, Emma, if that is your taste, I hope you have a great birthday, even with your strange your strange baking wish. Next to Wanda, it's your birthday. And I know this because your son TJ wrote to us. I think you're both in Nebraska. Nebraska, of course, is a great Bruce Springsteen album. Nebraska itself has a haunting beginning. The harmonica solo at the start of Nebraska is well worth listening to on its own. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because now I'm thinking about Bruce Springsteen playing the harmonica, and I mean, Thunder Road. I mean, again, haunting. I wish that is the instrument. I think. I mean, I can play the guitar, but I think if I could name another instrument, I'd like to be able to play it, either piano or harmonica. And Thunder Road features one of my favourite lyrics from the whole of pop music or rock music. Now, I always, whenever you get into conversations with people about lyrics that you really like, I always mention this, and then I forget exactly how the lyric goes. But it's something like, there were ghosts in the eyes of all the boys she sent away. They haunt this dusty beach road in the skeleton frames of burnt-out Chevrolets. That is absolutely brilliant writing. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Wanda, happy birthday from your son TJ. And apparently you haven't watched the channel much before. Goodness only knows what you're making of it now. But you do like Sudoku. And this is quite a good place for people who like Sudoku. And then finally, Nicola and Paola. It's your 2nd anniversary today over there in Italy. And Paola wrote us a lovely email. Paola is only 17. And she said that although 2 years isn't a very long time, it is for her because she's only 17. So I think Nicola is 18, Paola is 17, and you've been together 2 years. So many congratulations on your 2-year anniversary. I hope you have an absolutely brilliant day celebrating today. Italy does do some rather nice cake and ice cream, so I think you're good to go. Now, with all that said and done, let's have a look at what Marty and Stuart have in store for us in the form of mods, quads and odds. Now get ready for this rule set, it is quite funny. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. And then we have something called same difference lines. Adjacent digits on a turquoise line must have the same difference, though this difference can be different for different lines. Right, so let's just think about that. Imagine that was a 2 and that was a 5. Then the difference between these would be 3, so I think that would have to be 8 because 5 and 8 are 3 apart. That sort of feels right. Hopefully that is an accurate explanation. Quads. Each quad circle contains all the digits in the surrounding 4 cells. Unfortunately, these quad clues have all been written in white text and so are invisible. So these are quadruple clues. And when I read this originally, I was like, well, hang on, they're absolutely pointless. They're completely pointless. They don't tell you anything. But there is another rule about circles which is coming up, which probably won't surprise you if you've been watching the channel for a couple of weeks, where the circle rule has ruled the roost. Anyway, that is how quadruple clues work. So in theory, we should be able to see, if there was 1, 2, 3 and 4 written in this circle here, that would mean there was a 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the surrounding 4 cells. Obviously in this version we don't get to know that. Digits in a grey circle must be odd, so we have grey circles sprinkled throughout the grid, although this one seems a bit out of place. and all these cells have to contain odd digits. And then circles. A digit in a circle, odd or quad clue, shows how many times that digit appears in a circle. E.g., if there is a 5 in a quadruple clue, then there must be 5 total appearances of 5s in quadruple clues and odd circles combined. So this is the rinky-dink. This is the rinky-dink that is going to mess with our heads. So what that means is if this square was a 9, then there have to be 9 9s in circles. And the circles are the combination of the grey circles and the quadruple circles. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. Do have a go. 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, I think, but a 99% approval rating. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I have learnt that the best way of approaching a circles puzzle is normally to add up the number of circles. So that's what I'm going to do. We've got 9 grey circles, that's very clear. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more sort of quadruple circles. That doesn't seem to be anything like as many circles as I was expecting. Yeah, I see. Okay, so actually the real... what's the best way to think about this? Sorry, I realise I've stopped talking. That's because I'm trying to think about how best to analyse these circles. Because, I mean, let's take that cell as an example. The digit in that cell appears in 2 circles automatically just by virtue of its position, because it will be in this quadruple clues circle, albeit in white text, and it will be in this quadruple clues circle, albeit in white text. So whatever is in this cell is in 2 circles automatically. Whatever's in that cell is in 3 circles automatically, because it's in the grey circle and it's in the 2 quadruples. So maybe what I'm actually meant to do is to count the total number of because there has to be a digit in every cell in this puzzle, obviously. I know that's a very obvious, fatuous thing to say. I apologise for that. But I'm just trying to think about this. So there is... Yeah, so there is a... So this cell contributes to 1 circle. That cell contributes to 2 circles. That to 1 circle. That to 4 circles. Yeah, so maybe actually a better way of doing it is going to be to add how many quadruple circles have we got? We've got 7. So we've actually got 37. So what I've done there is I've gone each quadruple circle is 4 cells. There's 4 white digits in each circle. So 7 times 4 is 28, plus the 9 grey circles is 37. So there are 37 total circle clues, if you want to call it that. But some cells in the grid are going to contribute more than just 1 to that number of 37 circle clues. So normally the way circles puzzles work is that you have to compare the sort of circle total with the secret. something I only tell my very favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of those. The secret, of course, being that every row column or complete row column and box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each, and therefore sums to 45. So if we've got 37's worth of circles, but 45's worth of digits. When I say 45's worth of digits, obviously, if we put in fact, this box, let's have a quick look at this box, because here's a thought. Imagine this was a circle. That cell had a circle in it. Of some variety. Let's say it was a grey circle. So imagine that was a grey circle. Well, then every single cell in this box would contribute to a circle. But if that was true, the digits in this box would be the digits, obviously they would be the digits 1 to 9. And so every digit would appear in a circle in this box. But if that's true, that would mean the puzzle overall should contain 9 circled 9s, 8 circled 8s, 7 circled 7s, 6 circled 6s, etc. And that would mean, by the secret, there should be 45 circles available. That's not quite the right nomenclature, but it should be possible to put 45 into circles somehow, 45 digits worth or something. Whereas here we know the maximum count of circles is 37, because each quadruple clue gives 4 and each grey clue gives 1. So you can't possibly... Right, so this is an 8, is what I think this means. The reason I think this is an 8 is that there are definitely 8 digits in box 6 that are in circles. So imagine that this was a 9. Well, these digits would add up to 36. And will they be saying there was 1 1 in a circle in the puzzle, 2 2s in a circle, etc. But how could we fill that 37th circle that we know exists? Well, we'd have to put a 9 in it, but that would make the count impossible. So the only thing you can put into this square is the difference between 45 and 37, which is 8. So 8 is the only digit in this puzzle that is not ever in a... Well, that's totally fatuous as regards the grey cells, because the grey cells contain odd digits, so they could never have been an 8 in those. But now we've learnt that there's no 8 in any of the... so in this box there's an 8 in one of those squares, because you can't put 8 in a circle anywhere. In this box there's an 8 in one of those squares. And that means there's an 8 in one of these squares, because 8 is not odd. What a remarkable puzzle, actually. It's weird, isn't it? It is weird. It's just weird. Hang on. Let's just think about what this means. It must mean that... Why is my phone flashing at me? Is that a problem? No, that's okay. So hang on. But that means 9 is in a circle. And if 9 is in a circle, there have to be 9 circled 9s in this puzzle. And that feels... When I say 9 circled 9s, though, the reason this is complicated, it's more complicated than normal circles, is that if you were to put a 9 in this circle, you're actually putting 9 in 4 circles, aren't you? Because you're putting a 9 in that cell which has a grey circle, but there's an invisible 9 in the 3 quadruple clues around that cell. So a 9 here is worth 4 circles, but we have to get a total of 9 circled 9s. Which, well, okay, so what I'm seeing here is that in the grey cells, I could put 4 circled 9s. So we just highlight those cells for a moment. Those orange cells, how many 9s could we put in those? You can't put 9 in them, can you? Because that's going to lead to repeated 9s in rows and columns. So we could put 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here, for example. That would be 3 9s, and then you could put 1 there. That's the 4th 9. So one way of thinking about this is that these circles occupy 4 different columns of the Sudoku, so we can only put 4 9s into them. So we've got to put 5 9s at least. 5 9s at least into, well, it's into the circles in boxes 2, 6 and 7. That's the only other place you can put, you can increase your circle count. There are only 3 boxes that have quadruple circles in them. So right, so yeah, if you put a 9 there, for example, that would generate 2 circles worth of 9s, 1 for each of these quadruple clues. If you put a 9 here, you get 3 for the count. So, and that's the maximum one, isn't it? That's the cell that gives you 4 9s, or 4 whatever this digit is, for the price of 1 cell. Let me just think about this. Sorry, I just need to mull this over for a moment, or 2 or 3. I'm almost wondering whether what I'm meant to do to make this clearer is to sort of highlight the cells that are contributing more than 1. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my highlighting. Orange and odd are synonymous in Sudoku, but I actually want to change. What I'm going to make these is yellow, because I want to identify cells in the puzzle that contribute 1 to 1 circle only. And that's going to be those cells, isn't it? They only contribute to 1 circle. If you put a digit here, it contributes to this quadruple circle. So those are all 1s. I've got to be very careful here. I think that's a 1. That's a 1. I think that one is. I think that's only in 1, contributes to 1 circle. These 2, I think. Down here, though, yeah, there's only 1 overlap, effectively, isn't it? Right, so these yellow cells contribute to 1 circle. That contributes to 2 circles. That contributes to 2 circles. Those 2, hang on, that one. Oh, hang on, right, this has got confusing now, because these 2 I've made yellow, and I don't want them to be yellow, because they contribute to 2 circles, so sorry. No, I think this is the total population of 1 circled contributors. That's a 2 circle, that's a 2 circle, these are 2 circles, I think. No, I've got it wrong again. Oh, this is very easy to make a mistake. This is very easy to make a mistake. I'm going to make those blue. That one is in, if you make that, whatever digit you put in there, it contributes to the quadruple clue and the circle. Have I made any other errors here? I think it would be very likely I have. Oh, another way we could check this, though, is I got 37, didn't I, as the count for total number of circles. You see, this one is different again. That's got 3, that contributes to 3 circles, and that one contributes to 4 circles. So this is the Big Daddy circle creator. Let's make that red. Now, what this should mean is that if we add up all the yellow cells, so how many of those have we got? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. Now 20, and those are the doublers, so there's 5 of those, that's another 10, that's 30. Yeah, plus 3 plus 4 is 37. So that implies that we have actually coloured this correctly. So coming back to the thought was, how do you achieve 9 circled 9s in this puzzle? And the answer to that is how do you do this? How do you even... I'm not sure. I'm almost tempted to try and view this. You know, if we look at those 3 together, these 3 together, and say what's the maximum count you can get, because it's complicated by the fact that if for example, if we put a 9 here, yeah, if you put a 9 there, let me just show you why I think this is complicated. If you do put a 9 here, how many circled 9s can these 3 columns contribute altogether? Well, this prevents any 9s in boxes 5 or 8 being circled. So it would contribute 2 circles itself, because it contributes to this quadruple clue and this quadruple clue, but nothing else. So these 3 columns would contribute 2 9s. But this, I think these 3 could contribute quite a... No, actually that's interesting. Hang on. If you do put a 9 here, that's this cell, although it contributes to 4 circles, so it is absolutely mammoth in terms of the heavy lifting it does. You can't put a 5th circled 9 into these 3 columns, can you? Because you can't put a second 9 into box 6, and these 2 are knocked out. So although you do get a big count by putting a 9 here, it comes at a cost. So 4 is the maximum for these 3. Yeah, you could get 3. You could get a 9 there and a 9 there, for example. And that would give you a count of 2 for this one and 1 for this one. So that's 3. So the options for these columns are, well, you can do 4 and 3 very easily. You're always going to do at least 1, because there's always got to be a 9 in there. Yeah, but the average for each shoot of the Sudoku, if we just define a shoot as 3 columns together, these 3, and these 3, and we know we need 9 9s in circles altogether. We need an average of 3, so we can get higher than that here. You can get 3 here, but it's not easy to do it. To get 3 in these, I think you have to do that square. Because if you do that one, you can only get 2. So you can get 3 here and get to the average. And in these 3 columns, well, that one would give you 2. And then you could put 1 9 in one of those and get a third. So you can get to 3 in these columns. Right. But you can't get to 4, can you? You definitely can't get to 4 in this shoot or this shoot. So does that mean that this has to be a 9? Yeah, it does, but it's complicated actually. It's complicated. The way I'm seeing that, let me try and explain, is I need at least 3 for this shoot's count of nines contributed. And you might say, but you can get 3 by doing those 2, for example. Or, in fact, I think that's the only way of doing it in this shoot. You have to do that one to give you a count of 2 in this box. And then you could do that one or that one as a third. So something like that. But the problem with that... is that now you've got a problem if you... I don't know what the equivalent... Is it houses? No, it's not houses. I don't know what the equivalent of a shoot is in rows. And I think we've got a problem in the rows now. Because this collection, once you put the 9 there, the collection for this is now only a 2 count. Because this is knocking out both of those. And you can't put another 9 in there. And if this is a 2 count... that means either this collection of rows or this collection of rows needs a 4 count or higher. And you can't do it. There's no way you can do more than a... There's no way you can get to a 4 count. You could do that square and give yourself a 3 count, but that knocks out those 2, so you can't get higher than 3. And you could do that one and say that one, that's a 3 count as well. So you can't do it. And if you do that one instead of this one, if you do that one, then that's just a 2 count for these columns, and that would mean one of these shoots has to be a 4 count. Doesn't work. No way. Right, so that is a 9. That's a very, very tricky deduction. But what does that mean? So now that deals with this shoot entirely. We can't put any more 9s in this shoot, or we can't put any more 9s in that contribute to circles in that shoot. So we've got a count of 4 here. We need 5 more 9s. So does that have to be a 9? That would give us a count of 3, and then we'd need 2. Well, we can easily do... No, this doesn't have to be a 9. It doesn't. I can see it straight away. If that was a 9, that would give me a count of 2 for this shoot. But then I only need 3 from here. And I could get 3 with that one. That would give me 2 and either of these 2. Oh, I couldn't do that one actually because of this one. But I could do that one and that one. That would give me a count of 3. So it's perfectly acceptable to only have a count of 2 9s in these columns. And that's even worse because it doesn't even mean I can do that pencil mark. Because I could get 2 9s by doing that one and that one, for example. Bobbins. That's really weird because I thought... no. Alright, I'm doing this all wrong. Sorry. I apologise. This is the problem with life solving. You can do the most inept things. Right. Let's go the other way. Let's not think about 9s. Let's think about 1s. Now, there is a 1 somewhere in that box. And it contributes... That 1 contributes to a circle. Because all those cells contribute to these 3 quadruple clues. Now that 1 in a circle is saying there is 1 circled 1 in the puzzle. Well, that means that in this box you can't put a 1 in anything that contributes to a quadruple clue. So that must be a 1-8 pair. Sorry, that's obvious, isn't it? So maybe, alright, so 1 in this box must be in this collection of digits. So I've probably been going about this the wrong way round. Let's try 2s. So... Okay, yeah, that's beautiful. It's actually beautiful. So in this box, where's 2? And the answer is, I have not got a clue. But I do know, well, actually I do have a clue. It's in yellow, because it can't be in blue. Because then a 2 in blue is telling you to put 2s into 2 circles. And that would be the total obviously 2 2s in circles is as many 2s as you're allowed in circles, and then this box couldn't be filled because the 2 in this box is definitely in a circle. So this box contributes 1 2, that box contributes 1 2 to circles, so this box contributes no 2s to circles, and that means these squares are a 1 2 8 triple. Ah, this is very clever. This is very clever. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Is it worth making that pencil mark? No, that's lunacy. That's lunacy. I'm not doing that. Now, well, it is quite interesting though, isn't it? Because now there's an implication for 3s that follows from that. Because the 3 in this box is obviously going to cause a circled clue to arise. The 3 in this box is going to cause a circled clue to arise. And the 3 in this box is going to cause a circled clue to arise. So that's telling you can't put 3s in boxes 2, 6 and 9 anywhere but in yellow cells. Ah. Oh. Oh, this is very clever. No, I've got this all wrong. My brain is slowly catching up with what it's meant to be thinking. Naughty brain, bad brain. Right. Okay. How do we deal with 6s? No, it's not the odd digits that are restricted. It's the even digits that are restricted. We've already seen that a bit with 8, but it's much more powerful for 6. And the reason 6 is so restricted is I've got to put 6 6s in circles. We know that from box 6. But how can I do that? I can only put the circled 6s can only be in boxes 2, 6, and 7, because all of these squares are odd digits. So we just can't put a 6 in any of those squares. So I must be getting at least 2 6s. Well, this square can't be a 6 because that's circled. So I need 2 6s. So we're just learning it's just got to be a 6, doesn't it? It's got to be a 6. That's got to be a 6 because we can't put a 6 in a circle. 6 is an even number. And one of these is definitely a 6. That's very, 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 very cool, actually. Now, yeah, so now I'm going to go to 4s. It's such a strange puzzle because the logic works in peculiar ways. Because now, how do you reach a count of 4 4s in circles? Again, in this box, the max I can put I can only put 4s in yellow cells. That contributes to 1 circle. In this box, I can only put 4s in yellow squares. That contributes to 1 circle. And the only other place I can get 4s from that contribute to circles is box 6. So I must put them in the blue cells to get a count of 2 4s. So I get to 4 4s overall. Now I'm wondering about going back to 9s again. Because that not being a 9 feels like it's done something to the maximum shoot count of 9s in here. So we know we've got 4. We need 5 more, don't we? And these columns can give a maximum count of 3 if that is a 9. So then I'd need 2 9s. I'd need 2 9s over here, but I can get 2 9s. It's simpler than I thought. Or is it actually? I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my mind. I'm not saying this can't be a 9. It could well be a 9. But what I'm actually wondering is, if it is a 9, let's make this a 9 just for the sake of exposition. You can see these two 9s now are pinching an awful lot of circular real estate. Whoops, I even managed to misclick and lose my army there. So that means that we've got a count of 7 9s now. We've got 3 from this and 4 from this. So I still need 2 more 9s from just this box. That would put a 9 in the corner. Now if this is not a 9, then the maximum count of 9s in these 3 columns would be 1 in one of these dominoes and 1 in column 5. So that's 2 9s. But then I need 3 9s from these cells. And well, the only way of doing that would be still, this would have to be a 9 counting 2, and then one of these would, well, in fact, that would have to be a 9. So this is always 9. It doesn't tell me what that is, though, I don't think. I think that could be 9. Or, if it's not, then it's not. Then it's obviously something else. But if it's not, there will be a 9 here, and there'll be a 9 in one of those dominoes in box 2. I'm getting a horrible feeling that if you think about this puzzle, if you had all the thoughts in the correct structured order, you could solve this really quickly. But I feel I'm letting Marty and Stuart down a bit by not seeing this as clearly as I should. Is 7... 7s ought to be difficult, although it is an odd number. Yeah, actually 7 is difficult. So of course 7 is difficult because I can't use any doubles in this chute anymore. So I need 7 7s in circles. But the maximum I could get here is 1 in column 8 and 1 more in box 6. So that's 2 7s. So I still need 5 more. And here, this is exactly the same. I can put 1 in column, well, 1 in box 7 and 1 in column 2. So that's 2 7s. So I need 3. That's it. So I need 3 7s from this chute. How do you get 3 7s? Well, there's no way to do it unless you take this square. There is no way to do it. Because you could put, if you don't take this square, you can put 1 7 in one of those dominoes and 1 7 in one of those 2 cells. So that's 2 7s, that's not 3 7s. So that is 7. I think that means that's 9. But let me just think about that. So there now is 3 7s in this chute. So we need 2 7s over here. So one of these must be a 7. No, that's good. That's good because that can't be a 7 by Sudoku. So that's a 7. And in so now that's got to be a 7, because again we do need a 7 in column 2 to go along with our 7 that must exist outside of column 2 in box 7. So now that's a 7. Good grief. Good grief, this is clever. But I think we're going to be able to do better than that, because I want to go back to thinking about 9s again now. Because I have a feeling I've got 4 9s here. I need 5 more 9s. I've got 2 here, so now I need 3 more 9s. But so I must have 1 in this column, and it must go there. And I must have 2 from this chute of 3 columns, which means there's a 9 in one of these by Sudoku, and there must be a 9 in one of these, and therefore that is a 9, which means there's a 9 in one of those. There's a 9 in one of these. One position is on the funny line, which I have not given a second thought to since we started the puzzle, and therefore What does that mean? I don't know. Do we keep going downwards? Do we look at 5s now? 5s? I'm not sure whether 5s are going to be restricted or not. It's not. Actually, I do feel that 5s are restricted. Yes, they are. Right, the way to think about 5s is to look at this shoot and ask how many 5s this can contribute to the total number of circular 5s. And the answer is 1 in one of those squares, which means we need an average of 2 5s from this shoot. Well, we can't get more than 2 5s from this shoot. We could put 1 there and 1 in these dominoes. And we can't get more than 2 5s from this shoot. We can have 1 here and 1 in the remainder of box 6. So that is 5. That is 5. This is a 5-9 pair by Sudoku, of all things. Outrageous to be asked to do that. You naughty constructors, making me do Sudoku in your Sudoku puzzle. This is a 3-4 pair, I think, just by Sudoku again. Ooh, that's feeling a little bit tricky to me. I don't see how that can be 9. But hang on, we'll come back to that in a minute. Where else do we now look? So we've sort of... Yeah, we've sort of fulfilled everything. It's bizarre. It is bizarre. Yeah, I don't think it matters about the remaining digits. They're just going to automatically complete the circles with the correct counts. It's really lovely. It's really lovely. It's very, very cool. Yeah, for example, we've got 1 3 here. We're going to have 1 yellow 3 here and 1 yellow 3 there. Perfect. We've got 1 4 here. We're going to have 1 yellow 4 there, and we've got a doubled 4 here, getting us to 4 4s. So I think it should just be... Well, it's Sudoku combined with the funny turquoise lines, I suspect, is what's going to... Right, so maybe we've got to label these squares up. And those squares are 1, 2, 6 and 8 in some order. So let's just see if we can eliminate. We can get rid of 8 from that one. That wasn't the way to approach this, was it? I thought that, for some reason, I thought that was going to be useful, but it just wasn't. Okay. That's weird, actually. That's discombobulated me a bit. Can we do more with the digits we've actually got? I'm giving up on that. I'm going to come back to this sequence here, because I feel, and this might be nonsense, so forgive me if it is nonsense, I feel that those two digits have to be the same number. Because what we're saying is the difference between these two cells, whatever it is preserved and is the same as the difference between these two cells. So if this is a low number, like a 1 or a 2, say this was 4 and this was 2, the difference is 2. That's got to be 4 again. It's got to bounce back. And if this is high and is higher than this number and is 8, then we can't keep going higher. We can't go from 4 to 8 to 12. We're going to bounce back down again. So there's no way this can... In fact, you can very quickly see this can't possibly be 9. Because if that's 9, what on earth is this digit? There is... Yeah, the parity of those two digits must be the same. It must be preserved. Because you've got the same difference. Whatever this number is, whatever this number's parity is, you're adding two lots of the parity or preserving the parity in order to get to this number. So it must be the same parity as this. So this is never, well, it's not never 9, but what that means is that if it was 9, this would be 3, and that would have to be 6, and it can't work. So this is definitely not 9. That's definitely 9. That means that this is definitely 9. How many 9s have we got? Several. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 up here. 1 in one of those for 8. And 9 in the middle box is in a corner. Okay. Although, can you put 9 in the middle of a line? Surely not. No, that's total nonsense. You can't put 9 in the middle. Well, you could put 9 in the middle of a line, but not this line, because these two ends see each other. So imagine you put 9 here and you made this 4. Then the difference would be 5, and that would have to be 4 again. So you can't put 9 there. That's total nonsense. But I think we're left with a sort of deadly little pattern there, which is not going to help us. Right, let's come back to my parity thought then. Well, no, actually I'm going to come back to my thought which said that this digit must be the same as this digit. I don't see why that's wrong. Oh, well, that's very, no. Okay, so the way to think about that is that, well, I think that is true, that these are the same digit, because if we go down, we then got to bounce back up, and if we go up, we then got to bounce back down again. But we worked out those had to be the same parity. Well, that must apply across these two squares as well. These must have the same parity. Doesn't mean they're the same digit, but they must have the same parity. And yeah, I mean, the way to think about that, if you don't believe me, try and make that a 3 and ask yourself, I mean, if this is 3 and this is 6, what are we putting here? 4.5, not a Sudoku digit. So this has got to be 4, which means that's got to be 4. That doesn't mean, we don't know this, because that could, if this is 6, that could be 5. Six. Oh no, that doesn't. Oh, hang on, that doesn't work for a different reason. That doesn't work because if we make this 5, the difference along the line is 1, and the difference to these two squares can't be 1. So hang on, let's think about this. 4. If this was 1, the difference is 3 on the line. So this is 1 or 7. That's extremely annoying, but both of those seem to be possible. If this is 2, then this is 2 or 6. It's not 6, it would have to be 2. Again, seems possible, doesn't it? And if it's 4, 8, the difference is 4, and that's 8. That doesn't work. So maybe we can maybe all we get from this is we can take 8 out of there. And this comes down to 1 or 2. Yeah, it doesn't take 7 out of here, because if this is 1, that can be 7. That is weird. That's really weird. Okay. So that's a little bit troubling, actually. That's discombobulated me totally, because I don't then see. I don't see how I'm meant to use this line anymore. I must be missing something here. I must be. What about, okay, so it must be Sudoku. Let's try 7s. I have labelled some 7s around the grid. 7 in this box is where we should be looking. 7 is in a corner. And that knocks 7 out of there, which means this is a 7. So I've now got 5 7s placed. What about 7 in the middle box? Oh, we're going to run into the same issue. 7 just goes in a corner of the middle box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where's the 9th 7? Oh, in here. Wow, that doesn't work. Okay, so what I mean is it doesn't resolve anything. This can't be 1, can it? That won't work. That'll be exactly the same problem as if we put 9 in the middle of a line over there. Okay, so this is 2, 6, or 8 now. So it's even. Okie dokie. Alright, let's try this row, maybe? Because we have got a 1, 2, 8 triple. 3, 5, and 6. Ah, yeah, maybe. Nearly good. 3, 5, and 6 into these squares. And that can't be 5. That one can't be 6, so that is odd, which means that's odd, doesn't it? Right, that is interesting. Yeah, so using our turquoise trick that we discovered, where sort of the ends of the line have to be the same parity, this has got to be odd. And it can't be 5, it can't be 7 or 9, so it's 1 or 3. And now, so this could be 1, 2, 3. Is that all right? Might be. I don't know. Certainly seems plausible to me anyway. I don't know how this could be 8. That can't be 8, can it? Because whatever this is, we'll have to bounce down to the same number, so that's definitely not 8. In fact, maybe it can't be 6. Can it be 6? I don't see how it can be 6. I don't see how. I might be wrong, but I don't see how it can be 6. I mean, we're going to increase to it, and then we're going down to a lower number, so that must be the same number by this differences rule. So that's a 2. We need to lose the colour, and that must be 1. So we must be incrementing in steps that are small. We do a little bit of remedial work on this row. Now, has that really improved matters for us or not? We now have a 3 going horizontally in this row, but oh, that 4 means that's a 3. Okay, that's something. I hadn't seen that. So there's we've got a very good chance of a 3 in the corner then, because 3 is up there. It's sort of this square's a 6, so that's a 5. Okay. This is a 1, this is an 8, and that's a 6. Suddenly this row is finished. That's bizarre. Okay, but 8 comes out as a pencil mark up there. 8 is in one of those 2 squares. Again, I just don't see how that can be 8. I'm not very good at these purple lines, but I don't see how that can be 8. Because the way it could have been 8 is if it was a 7, 8, 9 line, which it clearly can't be. But whatever this is, if it's 8, what do I make that number? Let's make it 5. The difference is 3. We can't go up above 8, so we have to go back. We're always going to have to bounce down to the same number, I think. So I think that's got to be 8, which means that's 8 and that's 1. 8 is now apparently there in box 1, which I hadn't seen. Right, and these squares are 2, 3, and 7. And we can get rid of the 7 from here. Oh no, I thought I'd seen something, but I haven't. Bother. 8. 8 is there in box number 4. 8 is in one of these 2 squares. 8 is in one of these 2 squares. That's an X-wing on 8s. No. 6. That's a 6. So that's a 4. Oh, does that matter? No. Don't believe it. It doesn't. Oh. This is hard. It's fascinating, but it's difficult. Okay, so we're going to go 2, 4, and 5 and pencil mark these up. Does that help me? I fear the answer is no, not at all. I can't believe this thing isn't resolved. All right, let's try this column. Well, this can't be 1. Exactly the same reason that couldn't be 1. So now we've learnt where 1 is. This is not 1 anymore. This is 2 or 3. That's a bit more difficult though. It looks like 1, 2, 3 might be possible. So, oh no, actually there's a 3 knocked off the line here. How could this be 2? Gosh, that would be clever if that's not allowed. If this is 2, how could you do it? You couldn't do 1, 2, 3 because of the 3 here. And I don't see it's the problem we had with when we wanted to put 8 on the line. It just doesn't work. Because whatever the difference is there, we're going to bounce back up to the same digit. It's very, very cool, isn't it? And so surprising. And now we're almost odds on 3 in the corner. There's a 3 in one of these squares. And, well, one of these has to be... Oh no, we could have 2, 3, 4. Bother. Yeah, we could have 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 3, 5. I don't believe it. That's so annoying. It works. Right, so it's either 1, 3, 5, or it's 2, 3, 4, and the 4 would be here, and this would be 2. That's so mean, isn't it? It's still... Oh, 1. What? There is a 1 in one of those squares. That doesn't resolve things for us. Oh, this must be done, isn't it? 2, 3, 5, 7. Okay, let's label up these. 2, 3. Wow, 2, 3, 5, 7. And this can't be 5 or 7. So, oh no, I thought I got... Oh, well, I have. I've got a 2, 3, 7 triple in column 7. So that can't be 5. But sorry, that can't be 2. So this is 5, which means this is 1. Okay. Is that really good or not particularly good? Well, now in this column, we haven't put 7. Oh, hang on. What have we not put in? Why can't I see 6? Oh, there's a 6 here. It's probably been available for ages. I just didn't see it. So these two squares are 2 and 4. And these two squares are not 2. One of these squares is 5. That could still be 2, and that will be 2. This is absolutely bizarre. Okay, let's try 2, 3, 4, and 8. So these are from 2, 3, and 4. Let's actually put that in. It can't be 8 because I've got an 8 here. That can't be 2, and that can't be 4. No, I don't think it's resolved still. I'm not sure. I could well be missing all sorts of things now. I've not thought about this line. I almost don't think... Well, actually, that digit's not high. That's 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's not 1. Okay, sorry, I hadn't seen that. But those squares are all high digits, so that's 2, 3, or 4. Now, can we do anything... We know these will have the same parity, don't we? Now, is that useful? I don't know. I'm not sure. Probably not. Oh, here's something. 8. I've got sort of an X-wing of 8s, I've just noticed. So if we ask where 8 goes in column 5, therefore, it can't be in any of those squares. So it is there. So that's 8. This is 1 or 2. This is 1 or 2. Ooh, no. I thought I could do something with 1 for a moment, but no, I'm not sure I can. 1 is in one of these two squares by our old friend Sudoku. I don't think this digit is under pressure. I'm going to fully go pencil marking it. 1, 2, 3, 4. or 8. It's not 3, actually. There's a 3 here. 1, 2, 4, or 8. And it has to have the same parity as this one, doesn't it? Ah, that's quite interesting. Okay, so this can't be 1, actually. Because if it's 1, this has to be 3 by parity. And the difference between 1 and 3 is a 2 here. And that would be a 1-2 pair breaking that cell. Wow. Okay. I don't think that's going to do anything, but it was something I noticed. So now this is even, which means this is even as well. Again, all of these deductions, I mean, that was fairly sharp, but I don't think it's really helped me very much. So if this is a 2-4 pair, that's definitely a 3. Oh, it can't be. Oh, so this has to be 8, does it? Hang on, let me just think about that. Yeah, if these are 2 and 4... Oh no, is that just nonsense? No, it's not nonsense. The only way that can work is if you put the digit between them. And it can't be. Right, so that's got to be 8, which means that's 8. And now, if this is 4, this is 6, which it looks like it could be. And if this is 2, this is 5, which it can't be. Right, great. So this is 4, this is 6. This is not 4. That's not 8. We know that. The 8's here. Have we done all the 8s? We've done all the 8s. 6s. We can get a 6 here. Look at that. Sudoku comes to our rescue. How many 6s have we done? Nearly all of them, and now all of them. And that seems to give us a 3 by pencil marking, which we will trust for once. Now this is a 1-2 pair in the column. So we've done all the 6s. And I'm looking around, desperately trying to work out what's going on. What about this row? 2? No, see, it's still not resolved. 2, 4, 5. It's definitely. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Look, this has come down. This can't be 4. So there's a 4 in one of these, which means that square's got to be a 3. That square's got to be a 2. That square's got to be a 4. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, keep going. 3. These squares are now 4 and 5, which is resolved. That's the 2. This is 4 and 5. This is not 5 anymore. So there's a 2, 3, 7 triple, which makes this the 5. And somehow it's still resisting. Come on, naughty puzzle. You've got to give up soon. 1, 3, 9 into these squares. It's brilliant. It's an absolutely mesmerising puzzle again from these wizards. Oh, good grief. Wizards, that's what they are, wizards. Okay, right. One of the options we were thinking about along this sort of W pentomino line was that these digits were both 2s. Well, they're not both 2s, because if those digits were both 2s, where are we putting a 2 in the middle box now? And the answer is nowhere at all by Sudoku. That's gorgeous. So this has got to be 1. And this now has to be 7. So it did go, it went up in 3s, 1, 4, 7. So this is 3. That's that's knocked 3 out of the corner actually, which I wasn't expecting. That's 9. This is not 2 anymore. This 1 is telling us that's 3, so that's 3, that's 1. And possibly this is going to be useful. We've not put 7 into this row. So that becomes a 7 apparently. We've not put... This is 2 or 5. So this is 1. We've got 2, 4, 5 triples around the piece. And these squares here have got to be 1, 2 and 9. Oh dear, what's going on here? Oh dear, dear, dear. No, don't have some horrible deadly pattern. No, actually this one, look, this column is done. So that's 9, that's 5, that's 5, that's 2, that's 2, that's 4, that's 4, that's 5, that's 1, that's 2. Good grief, I think I've done it. That was very, very cool. Let's see. Yes. Okay, that is an absolutely brilliant idea. Not easy. I found that very counterintuitive at the start. I was a bit foxed by the way the circles worked. But I think probably it is this box that's the key, because it's that box that tells you 8 of the digits are circled. And given you know you can only put 37, there are only 37 circles to find, you then know that this is an 8. But even after that, I found it very difficult to learn, for example, where the 9s were disposed. It was all available, but I think I actually found it better to focus on the low digits before the 9s and then to think about the 6s. It's incredibly cleverly done, this. Imagine setting this. And then these weird lines actually do quite magical work. I mean, this line's beautiful, the way that couldn't be doubled too. And several times, you could eliminate an extreme digit from the middle of them. It's just a fabulous puzzle. Absolutely brilliant. Mods, quads, and odds. Loved it. And The Pedaling Pianist. I hope you're not having any sleepless nights just yet, and maybe you'll get a chance to watch this. And many congratulations again from all of us here at Cracking the Cryptic on the birth of your daughter. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.